Hey. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the stream. How's everyone doing? First of all, hey, wow, Mapney, resub right away. Resub, tier 1, 30 months, 30-month streak. Let's go, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Man, 30 months. Can you believe it? That's, that's almost 3 years. Dang, Crack Kitty, how's it going, man? Crack Kitty, resub, Prime, 18 months. 18 months. What? Was that a what? Or a what? Or a what? I think it was a what? I think it was one of those, man. How's it going? Man, thank you guys so much. Yeah, welcome to the stream. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your Saturday to join us. Today is obviously Saturday. And if you've never been to the stream, it's a little bit different than anywhere else. It's a little more laid back. Place where we talk about things tech, things we're interested in, things we're excited about, things that we're struggling with, all related to tech. So if you have something you want to share, please throw it in the chat. Now I'll definitely get to it. Another thing, if you're new, we go relatively about an hour. I clicked on the stream a little bit after 3, and so we'll probably stop a little bit after 4. So anyways, and that's all intended to just kind of, not go on too long and babble, which I do, but also give you guys some time back in your day. So anyways, if you have something you want to share, please throw it in. If you're not new, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. I don't have my glasses today because I left them in the car because I went to Micro Center. Yes, I went to Micro Center. It was everything that Micro Center is. It was so awesome. And they don't pay me to say this, but you guys know it's awesome. It's one of the few places where I don't know. I feel generally that I get excited about when I talk about shopping. I generally don't get too excited about shopping because most of the stuff I do is online. Grocery shopping is mostly done in person, but I don't get that excited about it. But when I go to Micro Center, I definitely get excited about it. And I love it how everyone has a story to share, either about the last time they went, the next time they want to go, what they want to get, or even they wish they had one in their hometown. So anyways, they don't pay me to say any of this. I'm saying it because I love them as a retail store and I want them to be around because it's awesome. Like every corner you go around, you're like, oh, wow, there's this is the headphone aisle and this is the keyboard aisle, this is the network cable aisle. And you could just go down every aisle. At least I do. Go down every aisle and look at almost everything. And then I circle the place like 5 times. They're probably like, is this guy like casing the place or something? Because he's already been through our store 5 times. Like, why is this guy in the same aisle? And here's the same guy asking me the same question about the same thing. But anyways, enough about that. So if you have something you want to share, throw it in, and we'll get to it for sure. And I'll definitely call out who was in the channel first. I know who was in here first, and we'll call out follows. I'll do that right now. Let's see. Real quick, I'll start here. So, okay, Vern, this was a little bit before the stream started, so I'll start there. Ven Mers, thanks for follow, appreciate it. Matt Kurles, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Matt, how's it going? Matt, how's it going? I know Matt in person. Hey, how's it going? And I hope I pronounced your last name right, because I rarely see your last name. Anyways, how's it going? Thanks for being here. I'm going with Zyro. I don't know. Zyro, thanks for the follow. Mafney again, and Crack Kitty, thanks for the resubs. Really appreciate it. Long streaks on those. Thank you. Jaden, thanks for the follow, and RJ Cran, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. So welcome. So thank you. So let's talk about some other stuff that's going on. Dude, PC Geek, man, PC Geek, dude, thank you so much. You didn't have to, you already do so much already. PC Geek, man, gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Dude, thank you. Thanks, man. Thank you so much for everything you do. If you don't know PC Geek, he's a moderator both on this channel. He's a moderator on the Discord channel or Discord server. And he does a ton of stuff, contributes to our community, helps a ton of people, and now he's gifting subs. So Big Tones, Demirler, Will Swish, Insane Girl, and I'm going girl, Grilly, I'll go girl, Gur13, and John Marsh 81. Enjoy your gifted sub from the PC Geek. Dude, thank you so much. Thank you. Dude, whenever I start saying dude, man, that's when you know I'm excited. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. So yeah, what I was saying. So this week, no video. Obviously, I've been working on round 2 of my videos. Maybe a little bit related to what I was doing. I have 2 going on right now that are both kind of in flight. I'm just debating on which one I actually finished the edit on, and I think it might be related to the last one I did. Last one I did, if you don't know, it was all about these Protectly machines that are super low power but still high performing and totally silent, and they're pretty awesome. And wowee, that video is doing pretty good. I didn't expect over 100K views in less than a week, so thank you, I appreciate it. So anyways, let's get into chat. Let's see who is here first, and let's see what you guys have to share. I'd love to talk about it. Let's see. So I'm gonna scroll up, and I know who was here first. It was Xavier's D. He said a couple of things that I can't see now. I know he was talking about. Oh yeah. His be right back. Got to refresh. Homelab sales. Well, he said a few things before that, but if you don't know Xavier's D, he's always hanging out in the voice channel on our Discord server. And on top of that, he's always wheeling and dealing servers and Homelab stuff. So if you don't know him and you have questions about hardware, especially when it comes to Dell servers, Dell servers mostly, he knows it all. But if you have questions, he's the man to ask. And there's a lot of people in their Discord server that know this stuff too. So, but he's always wheeling and dealing. It's low, nothing to buy yet. See, this is what I'm talking about. He's always wheeling and dealing. So if you're thinking about building rack mount servers, he's all over Homelab sales. The subreddit for sure. Let's see. Banana. Here's me testing. That's me testing. Getated. I say getated. I'm gonna say getated until you tell me it's not getated anymore. Yo, how's it going? Man, I feel short, even though I'm not, which is okay. I'm just not used to it because I usually stand. I'm not standing today because I notice sometimes I'm getting old. My back starts hurting if I stand in a stationary position for a long time. You know, if I'm moving around, I'm totally fine. But if I'm stiff as a board standing when I'm done, I'm like, ooh, that's not good. So, anyways. Xavier's D, be right back. Refreshing Homelab sales before Tim distracts me. For sure, man. Getated, yo. Is he going to be live? Yes, I am. Good evening, all. Franchise, how's it going? I'm here. Let's see. Canola, LOL, yes. Hello, everybody. First time here. I'm gonna go with Canoa. Canoa? I'm gonna go with that. Canoa, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad it's your first time here. Yeah, if you have a question, throw it in chat. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about some topics. This is my one time a week to 100% geek out on this and dedicated to geeking out. So let's go. lots of salutations. Hello all, and good evening from the UK. Xavier's D. Oof. Yeah, what are you guys working on? Let's see. Nut Freezy. First one. Let's see. Techno Tim, I'm trying to get Docker traffic set up so I can get Pterodactyl up and running. Wow, you chose probably the hardest 2 things that are out there to containerize and get working right. And I say that because it's probably true. Well, so I'll talk about it a little bit. So Docker and traffic, that's kind of challenging to get set up. If you never set up your reverse proxy and tried to get certificates, there are a lot of steps involved. I've obviously documented in a video and online on my documentation site. You can check that out. I'm sure you have. You'll just have to go slow and make sure that you get every line right. Because with YAML in general or anything you're configuring, if you have a lot of config and you just copy and paste the config and expect it to work without changing stuff, that's a recipe for disaster. It's usually not going to work. So, think about each line that you're putting in there and why you're putting it there and if it needs to change. I think my guide has been used, I don't even know, 200,000 times. I don't know. There's quite a few views on there, but even looking at the doc site, there are a lot of hits on that page. So it's been used quite a bit. Crack Kitty cheered 103 bits. Oh, here we go. 103 bits. Dude, thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, Crack Kitty. Oh, I got to see my Mega Man. That was probably super loud. That's the one that wakes me up. That and the raid, because the raid alert too is super loud. So now as I say that, someone's going to try to figure out a way to make it go off. But anyway, so going back to traffic, that one's tough. Make sure you got that totally working. and you get certificates before starting anything else. I would argue you should try to get something else working too before all of that, so you know that it works. Dude, Hamburglar, thanks for following. Dude, Omer, K20, resub, Prime, 4 months. Thank you so much. Wow, thank you so much. I collected level 2 emotes. Show me. Okay. Oh, awesome. Hey, thanks for getting me to level 2, and I got some more emotes. Thank you. I appreciate it. So anyways, Nut Freezy, definitely try something easy. I mean, even if you just do an Nginx Hello World page. I'm assuming you have some containers running. If you don't, do an Nginx Hello World page, and then try then to do traffic and get certificates applied to there. Because once you get to Pterodactyl, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different once you get to Pterodactyl because just because of the way that it runs, because you have this agent that runs, and then you have the actual dashboard that runs, and that dashboard could be running on the same host that you're running traffic on, but then your agent or your worker that's running the games could be running on a different machine, and so you're always going to proxy to that machine through to the other machine. And then another tip, if you don't see the green heart, search Discord for a green heart, and you'll figure out that it's most likely probably is going to be Core's issues. And so you'll see lots of people asking about the green heart, and you'll find the answers in there. So, dude, Matt, thank you so much, Matt. Subscribe, tier 1. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it, man. How's it going? Matt's a good guy. I work with him, and great sense of humor. Great sense of humor. It's great. If you ever talk to Matt in person, great sense of humor. I laugh every time he talks because I know there's humor behind what he's saying all the time. So I love it. Hello from Philly. How's it going? Franchise, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Oh, real quick. Demon persons, multiple persons. Thanks for follow. Appreciate it. Franchise, how's it going, man? Franchise, you don't know, he's in Discord too. Always sharing his home lab journey and sharing his stuff in Discord server and all of his server builds and mini builds and everything. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Xavius, finishing up my 3D printer, 2U rack fillers, spot putty on them to get them smooth, then swapping out my R330 with the new R330. So why are you getting a new R330? Is it, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You're swapping out the same? I wonder if that's a typo. But maybe not. Maybe not. You like to buy things in pairs too. But 3D printer 2U rack. So you printed out a 2U rack, and then you're going to use some putty to smooth it out. That is awesome. Just last night, again, I wish I had a 3D printer. I had to attach this HDMI thing onto the back of my TV, and I was like, man, I could totally design this thing that I need and print it out, but I don't have a printer. So I added it to the list of reasons to buy a 3D printer. And once those reasons outweigh the cost to buy one, then I will buy one. But a few people have printed stuff out for me. So it's like, well, okay, that takes away from that pot of money that I was going to allocate to it. So PC Geek, working on a Discord bot. Awesome. I know you have a Discord bot running your Discord server for your game. Adding the ability to post messages to a webhook so people can have it post in their server without it being joined. Oh, interesting. I like it. So you're gonna run your bot in your server, and then you're giving it the ability to post to webhooks, which is the way that you post to other people's Discord servers. Pretty cool. So then they don't have to run a bot. I like it. I like where this is going. I like it. So I assume they give you a webhook, right? They give you a webhook to use. Otherwise, you don't know the webhook. Or they give, and it would have to be that way because your bot doesn't have permission to create webhooks on their server. So pretty cool. They give you a webhook to use. You plug it in. Then they use a command. And then your bot will look up to see if that command came from that person. And then it will send it to that webhook. I like it. I like where this is going. Pretty cool. Penetrator. Free range routing with my Proxmox bonding GBE ports. Awesome. Free range routing. I want to know about this. Free range routing. I know about Proxmox. I know about routing. Bonding I know about. And with gigabit Ethernet ports, I know all of those words individually, but not the free range routing. I'm assuming that's just being funny. I don't know. Maybe it's a term I don't know. But awesome, sounds fun. I love bonding my gigabit Ethernet or even 10 gig. I've done some bonding too, or teaming or bonding, and it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. Once I learned how to do it, if I have extra NICs and extra ports, which I typically do, I bond them all because I'm like, why not? They're gonna go unused otherwise. I have a 48 port switch. I got to fill them up. Let's see. Necton, OpenShift on top of OpenStack. Awesome. So one is OpenShift by OpenStack, I think so. And OpenStack is by Red Hat. So awesome. So building up your hyper-converged all-in-one kind of server infrastructure with OpenStack and then putting OpenShift on top. Sounds awesome. Sounds like that's more than the day or more than the weekend. I don't know. I could be wrong. But that sounds fun. I've been doing so much Proxmox that it's like, well, soon I'll have another entire machine just dedicated to testing whatever I want, so I can't use the excuse anymore. I don't have enough hardware, because I will soon, as soon as I repurpose a couple more things. You know how it goes. You get one thing, and it's like hand-me-down and clothes. Hand-me-down and clothes. It's like, okay, so-and-so used to wear this, now it fits so-and-so, and now that's kind of what I do with my servers. I have this big hand-me-down process. Whenever I get a new one, that takes new roles. Old one takes the previous new roles and so on and so forth all the way down the train until it just doesn't have a role anymore. And then it's a sad day, or I sell it and it gets a whole new role and a whole new house. So sounds fun though, for sure. Kanoa, I'm going with Kanoa. Planning my first little server upside down. Yeah, I understand how they can go. So I have some tips. Well, I don't know. I always have tips and I have opinions, but planning your first little server, awesome. You say little, I wonder, does that mean low power? Does that mean physically small? And if so, does that mean you're still going to rack mount it? So many questions. But I would say sometimes, depending on what you're going to do with it, I would say, don't paint yourself into a corner. Don't buy this tiny little box that can only do this one thing. And the moment you need to do thing number 2, now you need to buy a new box, because that gets expensive really quick, right? That doesn't scale. So I would say future-proof yourself a little bit, but not too much. Because what I see a lot of times, and even I did this, I'm guilty of it, I overbought, and I've underbought before when planning stuff. When I planned out my first network, underbought. When I built my first server, overbought. When I actually built and bought the server itself, not all of my, repurposed PCs or laptops or Raspberry Pis over time. But when I actually went to purchase my first one, it was great, and I gave it a lot of work to do. But at the end of the day, I decided, hey, this is going to be running 24/7, and so I went with a couple of low power devices, so lower power servers, I should say. But that's my advice. That is the best non-answer I have right now, is don't overbuy and don't underbuy. There's somewhere in the middle where the porridge is just right, and you got to figure that out. And there are some hints along the way. If you say, well, I want to do this thing that does a ton of compute, or does a lot of GPU compute, and I need a GPU. Well, that kind of gets you a little bit closer to what you need. It's like, okay, well, you're going to put either more money into your CPU or more money into a GPU. Or if you're doing something that requires a ton of RAM, if you're doing any modeling or whatever, you're going to have tons of VMs. Okay, if I had tons of VMs, I might want one CPU with lots of cores and hyper-threading with solid-state drives, with a decent amount of RAM, or not. Maybe you're only going to run a handful. So, yeah, lots of options to go down. Tell me what you're going to do with it, and then I think I might be able to give a better probably recommendation than that. Franchise, how's it going? Built a new PC. All right, that's what I'm talking about. I won't get into it, but I was just speccing out the same PC that I've been wanting to build all year, and I think I can actually do it. Anyways, this is not about me. This is about you. CPU, Ryzen 5 5600 motherboard. Awesome. B550 8 Prime AMD 4 AM4 GPU. Power Color AMD. Radeon RX 6000. Oh, this is a copy and paste. This is a copy and paste from a description. So I'm going to say pretty awesome so far. Radeon RX 6600 RAM, Ripjaws. Okay, the Ripjaw specs. So 16 gigs RAM, DDR4, 3200. The case is a LAN cool, 170M. I'm going with tempered glass, micro ATX mid tower. PCU is Supernova 650 GT, and SSDs are 970 EVOs plus an SSD 1 terabyte M2 NVMe. Pleasantly surprised with the bang for the buck for this build. Ended up being cheaper than my 2010 build. Hey, that's good news because yeah, for me, like 2010, 2015, those for me, I felt like everything was so cheap. But that is awesome. Sounds like a solid build. AMD with 16 gigs of RAM, DDR4, a nice case, and then a nice power supply. And then I'm a huge fan of Samsung SSDs. I'm pretty brand loyal when it comes to them with TVs and solid state drives. So awesome Evo and 1 terabyte NVMe. Awesome. It sounds super fast. Awesome. So now you got to build it. And then you can actually see if it works out for you. I'm sure it will. That is a ton of power, relatively speaking, especially for the price that you said was lower than 2010. Twisted Grim, how's it going, man? Hey. Just about to push my Kubernetes cluster to 1.25, as well as working on some 3D printing stuff. Just printing a holder for my kid's soccer so it stands up. Oh, Scooter. Awesome. Hey, real quick, 8ZEI8. I hope I pronounced it right. Or is that an uppercase I or a lowercase L? You will never know. Actually, you can figure it out. But that is how you social hack someone. The uppercase I versus lowercase L. Socially hacked all the time. Anyways, thanks for the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. But Twisted Grim, awesome. So you're printing a holder for your kid's scooter, sweet. So it stands up. Yeah. I'm all for that because it's not great when those things fall down. And updating your Kubernetes cluster to 1.25. I just did that. I didn't mention that earlier. I just did that, and it was almost a flawless victory. I have 3 Kubernetes clusters. I started with the absolute hardest one first. I don't know why I did that. I started with the one where all of my production workloads run. And it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered because the other 2 went just fine. So I would have gotten that one and I would have been like, sweet, this is going to be easy. And then I break everything. And I actually had 50 minutes of downtime for most of my services and it kind of sucked. So it was nothing to do with Kubernetes and I think everything to do with Longhorn. So what happened was, and you might run into this if you use Longhorn, for some reason, all of my volumes went offline. So if you're going to do it, what I would recommend doing is upgrading your control plane first, upgrade all your nodes in your control plane, and then upgrade one worker. And if that worker goes offline, if that worker stays online, but any pods that need, storage and they get it from Longhorn, let it finish and then reboot that machine. Because once I rebooted the machine, all of the volumes reattached to the pods, and I was like, okay, I shouldn't have done all 3 machines. I should have waited and I should have rebooted, but YOLO, I went crazy. Anyways, it's other than that, no problems whatsoever. No problem whatsoever. It was like a minor upgrade, and I went from 124-ish to 125. So it doesn't sound like a big jump. In a minor version, but for Kubernetes, it was. Going on to 125 deprecated a lot of APIs and had a lot of changes. But fortunately, I've been staying on 124, giving most of my workloads time to adjust for that. So, Budney, waiting for a refund from Amazon so I could build my NAS. I am kind of too. Oh, well, I hope they give it to you soon. Amazon usually refunds things relatively quickly, at least here in the US and at least for me. Like by the time I have the return and give it to the person at UPS or Kohl's or wherever I end up taking to, Whole Foods, when I'm driving home, it's like refund issued. I know they've changed it a little bit. I think sometimes it depends. Was this a marketplace purchase? If it's a marketplace purchase, who knows? They say it could take 2 weeks. It just depends on the person that gets that box and opens it up and says, yes, you returned the thing. Anyways, I go through this I return at least I'd say one thing every month, month and a half. It just kind of depends. And I just returned something the other day. It was super weird. I bought two things. One thing new, one thing used. The new thing was used, and the used thing was new, but they sent the wrong thing. So it's like, wow, this was really messed up. And you know, Amazon, of course, they do what they normally do and like refund you or partial refund and, you know, make everything better. But I was like, this is weird. Like the thing that I bought was new, that I was supposedly new was used, and the thing that was supposedly used was new, but the wrong thing. So anyways, they get a lot going on there. PC Geek still trying to figure out proper routes with dual NICs and Debian. Yeah, this is it's got to be tough if you haven't figured it out already. So I think what you're trying to do is have two NICs on your Kubernetes nodes that each are on a different VLAN. And on top of that, I think those nodes run MetLLB too. So yeah, that one's tough. That one's tough. I haven't gone that far down the rabbit hole yet. Franchise also managed to fry the hard drive that stores my Proxmox VMs. Ah, bummer. Recovered pretty well thanks to Ansible scripts I had, but room for improvement. Yeah, that does stink. Yeah, if my hard drive died that has my VMs on it, I have multiple hard drives, so I'd have to have two die for it for me to totally lose them. And then if I did, I would rebuild that array, and then I back up to NFS, which is super simple. And then I would just run the restore from NFS. And so NFS is, network file share. It's a Unix file sharing system that Linux uses across the board, I think. And it's super nice for Proxmox because you can back up to it. And it's pretty fast. But yeah, that stinks. That stinks. Glad you had backups, though, for sure. OSFP rocks. I don't know what OSFP is. I don't know what OSFP, for sure. Anyone? I don't know. Let's see. The duplicates there. Pleasantly surprised the bank for the oh yeah, duplicates there. Crack Kitty, I'm no Mathney. No, you're not. You're not at all. No, you're not. You're Crack Kitty. How's it going, man? Kanoa, rip Raid Vid watching live first. Yeah, I haven't. He probably released one today. I'm not caught up. I was at Micro Center all morning, but I will definitely check it out for sure. But thank you for watching live. Yeah, that's right. You can catch it afterwards. No, it's kidding. If it's great, go watch it. I'm sure it is. B Breform. That one's tough. Hello, Tim. Do you think gaming and anime are a waste of time while you are in step of learning to code? Huh. Do I think gaming or watching anime is a waste of time when you're learning how to code or any other topic? And I'll say across the board, no. I'll say across the board, no. You need time away. I'm going to say that right away. So when I was learning to code, I'm self-taught. Fortunately, I worked for a company that believed in me and invested in me and said, hey, if you want to do this professionally, we'd love to have you on the team. And so then it was up to me to learn how to code real fast. I mean, real fast. And so I had to kind of learn it myself. And so what I would do at night is I would build all these Hello World projects. I would watch Pluralsight. It was never ending for 3 months. I felt like that's all I was doing. And I was kind of embarrassed because I was on this high performing team. And here you got me who's never written a line. Well, I've written code before, but not professionally in, a professional environment with all of these, systems in place. So I had to catch up real quick. But I will say, you have to build in time away. You got to build in time away. I mean, why do people at work have vacation time? Why do you have recess at school? Why do we have weekends? Why do we have, if you work a normal, I wouldn't even say normal. If you work a certain amount of days during the week, you have a certain amount of time off. Because you need time off from everything to recharge. And so I don't think it's a waste of time. Now, if it's 80-20, you're doing, 80% gaming and anime and then a 20%, learning code, I would say, are you learning how to play the game or you're learning how to write code? But no, I don't think it's a waste of time. And for all the reasons I mentioned, for recess, for breaks, for anything. I mean, for nights, for time off of work, you name it. You need time away from the thing that you're learning or doing. to recharge, and some people recharge in different ways. Some people go work out, some people go for walks, some people do something totally different, like watch anime. For me, I still do tech, but a different kind of tech. I'm a software developer at work. I do some infrastructure there, but we're 100% cloud, so I rarely get to do it. But the way that I recharge from writing code all day is doing infrastructure and home lab stuff at night. And I get it that hey, it's still tech, but for me, it's a different kind of tech. So no, don't feel bad for doing something else. You got to balance it out. Everything's got to be balanced out. That's why we have dessert too. Anyways, I don't think it's a waste of time. And if people catch you doing that thing while, if people catch you and say like, why are you playing games right now? You should be learning, for all those reasons I just said, like you need time away, and explain it to them just like I said. You should probably clip that so you can play it back to them. And then they'll be like, who is this guy anyway? PC Geek, it's Husband Appreciation Day too, is it? All right, finally I get a day. All right. All right, I did not know that. I like that. I'll have to tell my wife a little bit later today. And speaking of work, I have tons of alerts going off. I hope they're the same alerts that were going off this morning. I'm going to peek out of the corner of my eye. I'm on call right now. So this is YouTube and Twitch is not my job. I have a real job, and I'm on call as a developer right now. And I just need to make sure the world isn't on fire, and something kind of is on fire. Oh, it's cool. Well, maybe. People from work are like, dude, you should totally fix that right now. No, I'm kidding. Kind of okay. It's a high alert, but I'll keep an eye on it. Anyways, it's recovered. So so I am a software engineer. I do it professionally, but I work at a small startup. And so, we deploy the code, we manage the infrastructure in the cloud, and we also have a support rotation. I'm on support this weekend, and we have lots of alerts built in and stuff like that, but we have a lot of auto healing built in too, because we run Kubernetes, we run multiple pods. So right now I'm seeing alerts from Kubernetes that one of the services is having problems, but we have self-healing built in, and we also have an alerts when they recover. So it's pretty awesome. I mean, that's what you got to do when you're a very, very small team. And I see that it recovered. Anyways, I'm justifying why I'm staying on Twitch and not going to fix the thing at work right now. If you're watching, I'm sorry. If my CTO is out there watching, I apologize. I'm kidding. G'day, hey, Tim, have you ever delved deeper into Terraform? No, good question. I have so many ideas for Terraform. And so the video that I did on Terraform with Cloudflare was my first time kind of diving into Terraform. Because I've seen things that people have done with Cloud. I'm going to stop saying Cloudflare and replace it with Terraform. So I've seen a lot of things that people have done with Terraform. Like it's awesome. It's awesome. And it kind of crosses over a little bit with what you would typically do with Ansible. So when I originally started, I thought, yep, I compartmentalized stuff. I said, Terraform is for building up new infrastructure, and Ansible is for configuring that infrastructure. Basically, took Nana's view on it and a lot of people's view on it, right? Because that's how I originally had to go into it, thinking like, okay, I'll use Terraform to build stuff up, and then I'll use Ansible to configure it. But the more I used Terraform, I thought, and I because I dived kind of deep into it during that Cloudflare video, and I thought, I can do way more than just build up infrastructure. I can manage my infrastructure too. And so, in that video, I found out like, hey, Terraform has this thing called state, which you may or may not like. But for the most part, you can manage your state, and it will get the state from whatever you're managing, so that you can deploy changes to it, which is pretty cool. But at the same time, I do kind of question like, okay, well, if Ansible can do this without state, why can't Terraform? And I don't know if that's an optimization on Terraform's end to say like, we're not going to like, do the Ansible way where it's just like, hey, I'm going to run the 30 things on all 30 of your hosts, no matter if they need them or not. I don't know if that was an optimization on Terraform's side to say, out of those 30 machines, we know the state already. only one machine needs that change. So we're just going to run the one change on the one machine. So anyways, it's pretty awesome. I would love to dive deeper. I discovered so many random things you can configure with Terraform, like Pi-hole. Like one day I think I'm going to configure all of my DNS entries with Terraform and Pi-hole because I hate clicking buttons and because I can't find and replace really easily. So anyways, I'd like to do it some more. It's awesome tech. I just realized that, like, you know, that topic is and not that I'm always just going to do topics that are popular on YouTube. Topics not too popular on YouTube, which I was surprised about. I was surprised. Now, if you go and look, you're going to see, you know, 4 or 5 videos that have, you know, whatever, 1 million hits, and it's going to be Tech with Nana. You know, of course. But outside of that, it's just, you know, in my YouTube analytics, YouTube says, like, it's not, you know, people don't search for it that much. So either people are not using it, not interested, or they're experts. And I think it's somewhere in between. So I think people go to YouTube to figure out what it is and then realize, okay, this is either too much for home, or I'll learn this at work when we get it at work. And I don't blame you. You know, on the job training from the company you work for, you should lean into that for sure and use their time to learn new tech, especially if they're bringing it in for sure. But if you want to get an edge on it, that's where I'd say go out and learn it. Anyways, that was a long bit about Terraform. I love it. I think it's great. I would love to do more. I would love for more people to be interested in it. And if more people showed more interest, I would definitely jump into it. Not that I'm always going to do popular topics, but, you know, it's fun when people, especially when you're doing tutorials, when people use them, you know. And so if I build tutorials and, you know, it's not that popular and people don't use them, I feel like it's almost a disservice to you guys who are consuming these. So anyways, I feel like this is therapy. I'm going all out. Udorish, hi, how's it going? Thank you. Hi. Pizza Geek, been slowly dropping him hints with some stuff I made. Yeah, you have, Gadated. Yeah, with Terraform. Yeah, because you're doing Terraform and Proxmox, which I get. Like, I've seen, you know, I've seen Christian's video on it. I think it's awesome. But there's always that state piece. And so, like, I get it. You can provision a thing and let it go, you know. But for me, I want to provision that thing and keep the state of it. For example, the other day I was thinking, like, I should probably just delete all my virtual machines, or I want to change some configuration on my virtual machines. Do I just delete them? Do I go in the UI and do this? And I thought, no, I should probably do it with Terraform. And so not just configuring my virtual machines once, but let's say I want to add 10 gigs of RAM to one of my virtual machines. Well, if Terraform knows the state of my current virtual machines, I just need to change the state of that one virtual machine to give it 10 more gigs of RAM and say go. And so that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, I feel like I need to go all in and not just use it as a provisioner, but also use it as a configurator, if that's a thing. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to provision it with it and say it's done. Like, hey, I'm going to create this virtual machine 10 times over and over because, you know, it's a test machine. But it's another thing to then, you know, GitOps and source control my whole entire Proxmox server so that, you know, if I want to make a change, I don't go to the UI to make that change. I go into my Terraform config to then make that change. And so that's a bridge I haven't crossed yet. I want to get there, but I haven't done it. But yeah, for sure. I think it's awesome tech. For sure. But I want to use Terraform state if I do. Because that's where I think I get the most benefit. Because I have templates already, cloud init, you know, a simple right click and a go gets me a machine, pretty fast in the UI. But I feel like at some point, like I run Kubernetes nodes, some of them run out of RAM all the time. So I got to go, you know, I have 7 nodes in one cluster, so 4 of them I have to go and bump all of the nodes by 4 gigs. Pretty easy to do. You know, and I you know, give the 4 gigs in the UI, shut the machine down, bring it back up. But if I had, you know, my Terraform config right there, I could just say, okay, bump all of these by 4 in the TF file in the HCL and deploy it and just say go. You know, rather than you know, either re-provisioning a brand new machine with 4 gigs, which I would not want to do, or going into the UI and doing it. So it's awesome. I think I'm gonna talk to, I got something planned, a guest here in a little bit, and we're gonna talk a little Terraform. I won't really tell you who it is, but he might be on the self-hosted podcast. Yeah, Alex. So anyways, Alex and I have been going back and forth. We're trying to get connected. He's got me on his show, and I want to get him on my show. And so I think in May we're going to do it. We're between the 6th and 27th now. We've narrowed it down to 2 days. So anyways, I skipped that. The real Newman. We stand Micro Center. We stand. We love. We stand. I don't know what stand means, but I'm going to say that means we love it. Still looking good though. I don't know if that was the glasses thing or Micro Center. I'm gonna say Micro Center. Zero Sand 1Z just got Proxmox and a couple of VMs installed on an old 1950X system. Nice. So Proxmox, couple of VMs, awesome. I think that Proxmox is a great hypervisor, especially on older systems. If you just give it a little bit of RAM and an SSD, if you're running virtual machines, boom, you got a decent hypervisor because the requirements itself to run Proxmox are pretty low. And so, passing those cores on and giving those to, smaller workloads just breathes new life into old systems. So I love it. I love it for sure. I can't stand grocery shopping. Oh, this is going into grocery shopping. Yeah, I don't mind it so much. Like for a lot. Well, I'm still kind of in that I don't know. The startup that I worked in focused a lot on grocery, and then the startup that bought our startup now kind of focuses on grocery too, because obviously they wanted our tech. And so we're still kind of in that area. I don't mind it. Digital is a little frustrating right now. And going into the store, I think for me personally is even more frustrating. But I don't know. It is what it is. I don't mind it so much. I like the variety though. I don't like the mundane, like let's go to the same grocery store, get the same things and do the same thing, and it takes the same amount of time or more every time. So we shop at Target, and so that's where we go. So I pick different Targets all the time when my wife and I go. I'm like, let's go to the other one. I'm so burnt out on that one. And even though we still fill our cart with pretty much the same thing, at least it's a little bit different experience. So, but yeah, it's I know a lot of people can't stand grocery shopping. It's either you love it or you hate it. And I guess there's a lot in between there, I guess. But I do love to eat. Me too. I love to eat. No pain, no gain. Yeah, I hear you. Let's see. Tiggy. I'm going with Tiggy. Micro Center seems nice. Yeah, I think it is too. Hey, Kev M92 resub Prime 4 months, 3 months straight. Thank you so much. Thanks for all you're doing. Could you once start a series on coding, IT 101 with the basics, how to start coding, and IT in general, to understand some of your code better? Hey, Kev, M92. Maybe. Yeah. I have some old videos. They're gonna be real old. Probably head shaved off and stiff as a board and zero personality, but that's just me most of the time, except for when I'm on Twitch. For some reason, I have a personality on Twitch. Because I think it's because of this microphone. This microphone like transforms me into someone else. Whereas like when I'm on doing my YouTube stuff, I don't have this microphone in my face, so I kind of feel a little different. Anyways, all that aside, I do have a couple of videos on like building a Discord bot or a Twitter bot or a Slack bot and lots of bots that are pretty basic and pretty in I would say, intro level on how to build that bot out. Now I don't go into like, hey, what is this function? What does it do? Why do I use this function? But it's more of like, hey, here's how to get it working on your machine, how you can start one. So if you're super duper new, I would recommend, getting your machine set up properly first. There's nothing more frustrating than starting to code and realizing, oh, if you're doing Node or something, oh, I don't have Node installed. Or if you're doing Python, oh, I don't have Python installed, or Go, or whatever it is. I would just recommend getting your environment set up first. I got a video on how to set up if you're running Windows or Linux. Mac, it'll mostly work too. How to set up your machine to be ready for development. And I would recommend doing that first. because there's, like I said, there's nothing more frustrating than trying to write code and having your development environment, the machine that you're on, not being set up properly. Because that's a major buzzkill. You're like, dude, I was so motivated to code, and all I did was try to fix Node. Like, this sucks, you know, for lack of a better term. So anyways, I would say get your machine set up. If you're going to do Node, you're going to do Python, whatever. And then if you like Discord, try it. Discord is great. If you're going to build a Discord bot, it's great because you can test it in production. You can create your own Discord channel or Discord server where only you and that Discord bot are in, and you can test your code right there in production, in Discord's production. And so it's pretty fun. Same with Slack. Same thing with Slack. Now, when you start doing Twitter and Twitch and things, you can do it on Twitch too. You have a Twitch account. You could build a Twitch bot, and you could play with this Twitch bot in chat. For sure, you absolutely could. But if you ever go live and you ever stream, yeah, you don't want to test there in production. Like the bot that's running in here, it's 100% that code plus some more. So, anyways, I would find something you're excited about. Pick a popular language. Decide if you want to do front end, back end. But before you do after you pick a language and front end type or back end type, then I would definitely get your machine up and going and dedicate some time to that, to getting your machine right. Because, like I said, probably beating a dead horse now. Nothing more frustrating than trying to code and having your machine not set up properly. So that's why I created a video on it, because I was like, I don't want people to be frustrated when they learn to code. Take out every obstacle you can. And the other thing is, I would say stick with it. Stick with it. If you think you're going to do it, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Build something open source, put it out there in public. Don't worry. I used to be afraid that people would think my code is crap, which I do. Every time I write, I'm like, this is junk. And so I never wanted to show anyone. I was like, I'm never going to do open source. Who wants to see my junk code? Well, what I realized from doing this and doing a lot of open source is no one has time to look at your code anyways. So it doesn't really matter. And on top of that, even if they do look at your code, they're probably using your code already. And so they want to help make it better too. And so that's what I've realized too. And then at the end of the day, no one understands fully what your code may or may not be doing and why you made the choices you made them. So they just trust that you made good choices. That's what I've learned from doing open source. It's like, I removed all of those insecurities about not wanting to show my work into here's my work public, use it if you want. And, I think once you get over that too, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. Obviously, you don't commit secrets and passwords and all that stuff, but yeah, I have so many tips. Yeah, maybe I should. I think I just gave a lot of them there. But yeah, good luck. You'll have to let me know how it goes. You'll have to report back or join Discord. We have a coding channel, and share your code there. If you don't want to share it 100% public, post it in there. There's a lot of people who are very knowledgeable about a lot of different languages there too. But yeah, thank you. Oh, Taigi, I didn't finish this. Micro Center seems nice. I don't know a place in Switzerland where you can have a look at the latest stuff. For example, Unify 19-inch in a rack mount. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Micro Center is the only place I know where I can physically walk into a store and look at Unify products. I can look at 3D printers. I can look at Raspberry Pis. I can look at custom PC builds, power supplies, custom keycaps, you name it. And so it's pretty awesome. If you ever come to the States, plan a trip and just walk the aisles. Dedicate it. Just grab a coffee and walk through there. It's so fun. And buy something too. I say that mainly because, I want them to stay in business. So I buy from them when I can. Because if it ever went away, I feel like we'd be losing a national treasure. Micro Center is the national treasure. I said it. PC Geek, when I worked at CompUSA, we had customers like that. The manager would watch them on camera. Yeah, that's me. I felt like, okay, I've done 4 laps in Micro Center now. I only have one thing in my arm. There's probably someone watching me. And when I walk in, they're probably like, this guy, he doesn't look, he kind of sticks out. He's super tall. He's got a lot of energy, and he's asking a lot of people a lot of questions. Watch this guy. So I don't know. But for some reason, people are always just like, you need help? You need help? And they're probably like, yeah, we're watching you, buddy. But no, anyways, it's super fun. I love that place. Once I moved to Minnesota and I realized we had one, I was like, finally I can see what people are talking about. And I'm talking about like back in 2012. I was just like, I'd shopped their website before, but going in is quite the experience. Quite the experience. Let's see. I'm gonna hop down here. Yeah, Matt. Oh, yeah, inviting. Yeah, Matt. Yes, join the Discord. Join the Discord, and know that that stuff going off in the Ops Alert Slack channel. I am monitoring it, Matt. I am monitoring it. Let's see. Is that Puggle? Oh, Puggle Love. Hey all, first time chatting. Hey, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for chatting. Thank you. Xavier D, just to clarify, I hit refresh. Is it refresh or refresh? I hit refresh. I'm going with that at 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. Wasn't spamming for the same refresh. All right, he's spamming it. He's spamming it. So I was saying, my name is Ibrahim. Okay, call me Hema. Hema. If my name is hard to spell. No, Ibrahim. Can I say that? I'll say Ibrahim because I know how to pronounce that. Yeah, I totally got that. If I'm pronouncing Ibrahim wrong, let me know. But I think that's right. Well, thanks for helping me spell your names because sometimes, like yours, I assume that means Bram and the 4 is leet speak, but it's I get in trouble sometimes with leet speak. But Ibrahim, thank you for being here and thank you for helping me pronounce your name right. I will get it right next time. B4HMM equals Ibrahim. I got it. Got it. Kinky Binky. Here we go. What time does a pole dancing start? Yeah. If you're talking about 4-pole server rack mounts, I don't know. I got nothing. It does not start anytime soon. I assume you mean because the lights. You can make the lights dance anytime you want by changing the theme in here. You can make lots of different colors, and then you can make them flash other ways, but you can change the lights too. Channel points, they're free. They're down below. Everybody gets some, and you can change the lights to whatever you want in here. Whatever you want, as long as it's the 4 themes that I have. Demon Persons, hi, how's it going? Udorish, that's what I'm going. Udorish. Does Kubernetes have any interest for someone with only 2 servers at home? I'm using Docker for now, but people tell me it's not made for prod. No, it's the exact opposite. Kubernetes is made for prod. I would say like 80% of the world that's in the cloud is running on Kubernetes. But so I'm going to break this down really quick. 2 things. Is it ready for prod? 100% it is. I mean, if not, you got a lot of every single Fortune 500 company in big trouble right now because they're probably all running it in some form or fashion. 100% is ready for prod. It's been ready for prod for, I don't know, I'd say about 8-9 years. But then going back to your question about, hey, I only have 2 servers at home. Does it make any sense to run Kubernetes? I would say no. Until you get 3 servers, really, should you be, you can. So I'll break this down. To have a production high availability Kubernetes cluster, you need at least 3 servers. That's because, in the case that one goes down, you need quorum, and then they vote on who then is the leader, and you can only do that outside of 3. You can only do that with an odd number of nodes that's higher than 1. And so 3 nodes is the minimum amount for that quorum or that election to happen. And so if you only have 2, no, there's no point. You could. I've run single node Kubernetes cluster of 1. I haven't run 2 because that's an odd number, but now I run 3, 6, and 7 because I have 3 clusters. And the only reason why I would say to run it at home is if you want to learn Kubernetes. There are some additional benefits. I will say there are some additional benefits that you don't get with Docker, but they're a little bit more advanced use cases. So if you're new to Kubernetes, those use cases probably won't be apparent right away, but there are. But I will say if you want to learn Kubernetes, you could do it with 2 nodes and then add a 3rd node later. You could do it with one and add two later, but you're not going to get high availability on your services or on Kubernetes, the API itself. That being said, just because you have 3 nodes doesn't automatically mean that all your services are HA. All of your services need to be architected in a way that will give you HA. And what do I mean by that? Well, they need to be stateless, and that's a big topic for another day. But most of the containers that you see aren't stateless. They keep all of their state either on inside of the pod or the container itself, or they write to a file system, or they have a database inside of that container. All of that is stateful. If it's stateful, you can't scale that pod to more than one. Because what happens with, one has a state, you multiply those pods, now you have 3 pods with 3 states, and each time you request one of the pods, they're each going to have a different answer. So anyways, I know that's probably, you're probably thinking now like, wow, I'm so glad I'm not doing Kubernetes, but these are the things you'll have to think about. So if you are interested in learning Kubernetes, because maybe your work's going to do it, or maybe you just want to know, or maybe you just want to like orchestration hop, you're like, okay, I got Docker down and I got Docker Swarm down and I got Portainer down. What's next? Yeah, I think it would be a good fit. But if you only care about containers, it's only at home, you only have 2 nodes, stay on Docker for sure. But you have options. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I've said from the beginning, like, just getting to containers is a huge feat. And I know that a lot of you run containers all the time, and you're like, big whoop. Well, I'll tell you, there are a lot of places that aren't running their workloads in containers, and you're like years or a decade ahead of some businesses who aren't even doing containers. So I would say, hey, that's a feather in your cap for running containers at home, and don't think like, I'm only doing Docker. Should I do Kubernetes? No, you don't have to. You don't have to at all. I'll be the first to tell you. But I think it's awesome. I'm always going to end with that. Mafney Hype Train. Yes. Sorry. This happens every time I stream. Like, one of my mustache hairs just like decides it's going to poke me in the nose. And I think it's because of this, because I bump against there. Anyways, this is getting weird. Nut Freezy. Yeah, I'm ready to, I'm already looking at it. Plus, I'm a Wintel guy, too, so I'm getting over my Linux allergy, lol. Yeah, hey, I was a Wintel guy for a long time. And arguably I still am for a lot of things. Yeah, I still am for a lot of things. This stream is brought to you by Windows, Intel, and NVIDIA right now, I do have a MacBook for work, and I have lots of Linux servers in the basement, and some of those servers are still Windows servers. I mean, you can't deny, like, having Windows in your environment. If you need Active Directory or you need whatever, it's just going to happen. So there's no shame in running Windows. I know, like, on the internet in some places, people bash Windows. That's fine. Some people bash Mac. That's fine. Some people bash Linux. That's fine. Totally fine. It's all in good fun, but I think each operating system has a specific role that it can play, arguably better than the other ones. So, yeah, no shame in that. And if you want to learn Linux and you want to learn it the easy way, I would say if you're already running Windows, install WSL. Install the Windows subsystem for Linux on your Windows machine. That's what I do. And then you have Linux running on your Windows machine. And it's super easy to learn. I mean, I run it all day. I have a terminal open right now. That's my Windows subsystem for Linux. I run Ubuntu in my terminal. 100% of my terminal is Linux, but it's running on my Windows machine. So when I write code, I open VS Code, open a Windows terminal running Windows subsystem for Linux while I code, and that's my terminal to debug, to build, to compile, to whatever, to get push, but I'm still on a Windows machine. So you have lots of options, and if you don't want to do just terminal Linux, WSL also supports Linux in the UI. So if you're thinking about it, want to learn it, obviously it's awesome to have a dedicated Linux machine, but if you don't have that ability to have a dedicated Linux machine, Windows on Linux, next best thing, and you can learn it really fast. You can throw it away. And just go in the Microsoft App Store and look and just search Linux, and you'll find lots of flavors. It's pretty awesome. One of the best, I think, things Microsoft has done in a long time. I can't even remember a better thing. I mean, arguably Azure is pretty cool, but running Linux on Windows, boom, like never thought it would happen. And hats off to that team who did it. I mean, they're top, I'd say their top 3 achievements in the last, I won't count operating systems, but I would say, in the last 10 years, WSL probably number 1, VS Code number 2, and then probably Azure after that. Because, nothing against Azure. I love Azure, but it's just another cloud. They didn't create an IDE, and no one else has a great IDE that's open source and free. Maybe there are. They didn't throw, Linux on top of some other operating system. I'm just saying, as far as originality is concerned, I think that's the biggest advancement that Microsoft has done in a long time. I would say a long, long time, if ever. Hey, Sword of Truth, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Killerman TV. Do you know of any IPMI solution for homelab on a consumer board apart from Raspberry Pi projects? So do I know of any IPMI solution? Yeah. Yes. MSI. Okay, so let's break this down. First, you're asking, hey, are there IPMI solutions on a consumer board apart from Raspberry Pi projects? So IPMI is basically remote access to that machine, even when the machine's off. So it's like a separate NIC that can connect to video, and you're able to use your keyboard and mouse to power on the machine and maybe get into the BIOS, install an operating system. So I'm gonna bucket that into IPMI. And then you're saying outside of Raspberry Pi projects, because there are projects like PiKVM, which I have one, where you can connect, you can plug in your server or whatever you want, your consumer board into that, and then do all of the things that we just talked about, but it is built on top of Raspberry Pi. So are there anything outside of that? And then you're saying consumer, obviously, because most enterprise boards have these things built in. Okay, now that we're all on a level playing field, yes. So there are a few boards that are out there that have them. I'm going to say they are a little bit more expensive. I think MSI has one. I think Asus has one, but they're going to be like on their higher end boards. And you're going to pay a little bit of a premium for it too, which is to be expected. Most people don't need those features. They probably didn't produce a ton of those boards. And plus you're getting some functionality that none of the other boards have. So it's going to be, I don't want to say ridiculously expensive, but you're going to have to buy up into a different tier. So anyways, I said MSI. I think it's ASRock. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's ASRock, and Asus. Both of those have a consumer board with IPMI built in. So then you can remote into that machine even when it's off. You can reinstall Windows or Linux or whatever you want to do. You can overclock the machine and do all that good stuff from IPMI or from that little web console, rather than being directly in front of your machine. So anyways, yeah, there are. I would say though, if you're thinking about doing this, not only now, but in the future, I would say the PiKVM project is so awesome. It is so awesome and it's so versatile that, you're gonna get your money's worth out of it over time. Like my PiKVM right now, it's hooked up to 4 different machines. Obviously, my use case is a little bit expanded for most people's. But I spread that cost over 4 machines, soon to be 8, and it's like, this is actually a good solution. I even use it over IPMI on the board when I can because it's all in one place. So, and the nice thing about having that PiKVM device, if you do build one or buy one, is that you can use it on the next machine and the next machine or any machine. You go and travel, you go to your parents' house and you're like, here, I'm going to put this on here for a little bit. I don't know, for the next couple of weeks because you're having problems with your PC. You can put it there. You can mail it to them. You can mail it, to your parents, whatever. I mean, I'm not saying you should buy it, but I'm thinking, just think about like, would I buy a specialized motherboard that I would pay a little bit more for and maybe not get the features on the motherboard I want, or buy a separate device and have that device work with anything I want in the future? That's where I went with buy a separate device so it'll work with anything in the future. Not talking you out of it. These are just things to think about. So I'm not talking you out of it, but you have limited supply. I think it's ASRock, if my memory serves me correctly. ASRock and Asus, they both have consumer boards with IPMI built in. So I could be wrong. Nut Freezy, Techno Tim, I've been Bitwarden container running for testing certs. Awesome. So you're running Bitwarden, so your multi-factor authentication, you have it running. and you have a container for testing certificates. Oh, so this is going back to, yeah, all right, gotcha. Tying it together. So you already have this container running. Now you want to put traffic in front of it. Perfect. I would say get traffic going and then get your Bitwarden website protected with SSL or TLS, and make sure that works before going on to Pterodactyl. Because that I will say that is a different beast. And it's a little bit different paradigm too. Because what I said, like, you know, you run the dashboard and then you run agents on machines. And those agents are really to control those game servers. And the dashboard connects to that agent. And some people also then try to combine it all on one. So it's traffic on one, along with the Pterodactyl dashboard control center, along with the agent itself that then will spin up containers. So yeah, so I would say, like, you know, get Bitwarden and traffic working first, then get the dashboard working, and don't do the agent until you are 100% sure you can get into the dashboard with TLS. Then once you have that, get the agent running, whether you're going to do that on the same machine or another machine. I would argue another machine if you're going to be spinning up multiple game servers, because you don't want that to impact, you know, your control center where all your other containers are running. But if you're only running a couple, why not? Why not? Awesome. I'm getting excited about this Pterodactyl. I had fun making that video too. And I don't know. I'm not. Yeah. Well, yeah. I really enjoyed making that video. It was super fun. And on top of that, I like the intro because I love that song. I think fits so well. And then just the editing. I don't know. I can hear it in my head right now. Anyways, Crack Kitty, for sure, traffic can be found in the containers and sometimes in networking. Awesome. Thanks for the invite. So that's in reference to, hey, can I get some help on this traffic stuff and where should I put it? We have lots of channels. Thank you, Crack Kitty. Xavius, the R330s are worth like $500. I got my first R330 for $175, 16 gigs of RAM, two 3.5 caddies. The new R330 has 32 gigs RAM and 2.5 caddies. So I'll swap it out and then sell my first R330 for $400 or so. I told you he's always wheeling and dealing. I told you he is. Awesome. I got it. So instead of just swapping everything everywhere, you're just like, well, I'll sell the one that, you know, with all the parts intact. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. He's always wheeling and dealing. Sordid Truth and Golden Ratio. Oh, Golden Ratio. I like it. And Sordid Truth. Both great names. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Let's see. PC Geek. Right. Users would sign up for it in my Discord with the URL for the Discord integration. Awesome. All right. I nailed your integration without totally knowing what you want. You told me what you're doing, but I was thinking I was architecting the solution in my head. I'm glad I was close, because sometimes I'm way off and you're like, what was that guy talking about? It will just post alert messages to their Discord. Yeah, man. I like it. It's basically like bot as a service, kind of. You know, that's kind of what it is. It's basically like, hey, you don't need to run your own bot for, you know, my server to tell your server about stuff. You know, just sign up here. I'm liking this. I might steal that idea to get the Techno bot that's running in ours to post to other people's Discord. I like it. Brink. GG. Hello, first time catching you live. Love the YouTube videos. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Sorry it took so long to get to you. I want to pronounce this right. Udorish. I'm going with Udorish. That's what I'm sticking with. Do you think that immersion cooling will be accessible in the short term for home server use? Do you know of any projects for the general public without having to build it ourselves? So immersion cooling. So if I know what you're talking about, so immersion cooling is basically like dumping in a ton of oil, something that doesn't conduct electricity, dunking all of your components into it, and calling it a day, calling it good enough, because as long as, you know, the room temperature is keeping that oil cooler, then you don't have to worry about cooling the parts. And I've seen it before. I remember, like, I almost did it. I was like, this would be cool. You know, you saw the people who had like the fish tank PC, but it really wasn't a fish tank. And I think Linus has done it too. I thought it was so cool. I was like, man, this is the next hotness. But not a lot of people do it. So I don't know. I don't know. if that's what you're talking about. Because I would assume if you're going to do it at scale, if you're going to do it at scale for a whole entire rack, then you need to build in like a pump, basically. Basically liquid cooling the whole thing, but you're dunking it all in the oil. But, as servers are working and they're working really hard, you're going to have to cycle that oil somewhere, take it somewhere and get it a little bit cooler, some kind of radiator type solution, spread it really thin, maybe have one radiator, cool off that oil and coming back in. And then, so you have this cycle. I don't know. It sounds awesome. Sounds kind of messy, but it sounds awesome. So I don't know. I don't know the answer. It sounds fun. Like, it would be cool because then all of your servers would be dead silent. They would be dead silent. And who knows, maybe more efficient because you're not spending that energy on all the fans that need to blow through there. Sounds awesome, but I don't know. I would love to try it someday. Sounds kind of messy. And I don't even know. It's some kind of oil. I can't remember. I don't want to say linseed oil. It was something very specific that most people used. And you need to make sure, I think, like it doesn't corrode it over time too, though. But it sounds fun. I never thought about it for servers. I've always thought about it for PCs because I've seen it done. And I think Linus did it with a PC. I'm talking about older Linus. Linus back in the day, I should say, did it. And it was pretty awesome. Let's see. Xavier D. Tim, yup. Recycling your servers. I now have 4 servers. I got to sell, LOL. Way too much hardware stacking up. Only downfall is always buying stuff. I'm there too. I'm selling my disk shelf. Shameless plug. If you're in the Twin Cities area, I'll sell it to you. I'll probably give you a deal if you mention I said you'll give me a deal if you heard it on Twitch. But yeah, I am selling my. I know how it goes, man. You upgrade and you hold on to something thinking like maybe I'll use it for something, but then something else inside you says like, hey, I need to get rid of this before it's not worth as much, and that bubble has popped. So I'm kind of there with you too, man. Like I have my disk shelf that I'm selling. I'm selling a couple of old pieces of audio equipment. I'm selling all of these monitors here. I'm there with you, man. But I'm doing all mine local on Facebook, and Facebook Marketplace. I should list it on Craigslist, but Facebook Marketplace is super easy. I didn't want to like put in the work to actually do it on Craigslist. So I think I'm going to have to for my disk shelf because it's so specialized. And UPS that is takes 200 to 220 volt that I don't have in my home that Eaton had sent me that doesn't work. And I was just like, do you want me to send it back? And they were like, no. And I'm like, okay, I totally cannot use this thing. So anyway, shameless plug for the things I'm selling if you're in the Twin Cities area. And funny, I sold my server rack and the guy recognized me. He's like, Are you Techno, Tim? I was like, depends on who's asking. But yeah. Anyways, there was one, I think that was the first person in real life who recognized me. One person recognized me on a Zoom call, and it was pretty funny too. But anyways, yeah, man, I'm trying to do the Xavier D thing and sell old stuff. As much as I hate to do it, I'm trying to do that right now. But awesome, man. You know what you're doing because you posted on homelab sales, and you've got this down. You got this down. You need to school me on it. 8ZZ. Hey, all right. Oh, here we go. Penetrator. OSFP routing with dual bands, link redundancy to each other. No single point of failure on the cluster. I see. So yeah. So basically, you duplicate everything going down. So there's no single point of failure. Like right now, I have a switch. I have a router. If one of those things die, I'm dead in the water. And even if I have, dual NICs on my server, they're both plugged into the same switch. I got you. Because when I did tech support stuff, I'd always have to, there was always 2 switches in the closet that were on 2 different circuits. And every time I went into like, not the network closet, our data center at the time, I would have to run one NIC from one server to one switch and one NIC from the other, the other NIC on the server to the other switch, which was supposedly on different circuits and different switches too, and different battery backups. So I got you. Sounds awesome, man. Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. Hey guys, okay, I went way over. I'm gonna I'm going to scroll. Oh, I need to look into this. Okay, FRR. I talked about this earlier. I brought this up from Penetrator. Free range routing. You need to take a look into it. You can do BGP, OSPF, and others on Proxmox. All right. So BGP is one I totally don't understand. Every time someone brings it up, I'm just like, I should know more about this. But I've only dabbled in networking, as you can tell. And so now I know what OSPF is. I got to get the acronym right to even say I understand what it is. And FRR is really a thing. I thought you were just kind of being, tongue in cheek with free range, but you're not. Free range routing is a thing. So I will definitely look into these and see if I can learn something. I'll have to YouTube it later and check it out. So yeah, okay. So OSPF is one of the better routing protocols. EIGRP, so I've heard of that, is one of the best for private networks. BGP, I've heard of that, for external. Example, an ISP. All right, I'm learning so much from you guys. I love it. Hope you guys are in the networking channel, because these questions come up sometime, and I'm just like, I hope someone else knows. Usually they do. We have so many experts in our Discord server. So, anyways, I do apologize that I'm gonna say ditch out, because that's kind of what I'm doing. But I want to be respectful of your guys' time, and I already went over the time I said it was gonna go. So, mineral oil. There it is. Mineral oil. All right, not linseed oil. Thank you. McCrude. I'm going with McCrude. Thank you. So when we were talking about submersion, I couldn't figure out the type of oil, but it's mineral oil, and that's what you want to do so it doesn't conduct any electricity. Yeah. One day, it would be awesome. It would be awesome to like overclock something to oblivion and see if you can. And I think that's what Linus did in one of his old videos, is to see how far he can overclock something. So anyway, so I thank you guys so much for tuning in today and taking roughly a little bit over an hour on this Saturday. If you guys have any more questions or things you want to share, things you want to talk about, or I didn't address your question, feel free to throw it in Discord. And if you need my opinion on it, or you wanted to say something, feel free to tag me on it too. I don't mind. If you're not in Discord, you should join. We have a Discord server. We're almost to 9,000 members now. So a lot of people are there talking about all kinds of homelab stuff, tech stuff, things they're working on, projects they're working on, code they're writing, automation they want to do, and a great basic gut check if you're ever thinking of doing something really crazy, like I was doing some electrical work. I threw it out there, and within minutes, Ilud gave me an answer on how to fix something that was related to electrical. Not like my home or anything, but just figuring out, what the actual voltage is on some of these PC parts that I had. So anyways, a lot of people with a lot of different walks of life from all over the world that are interested in a lot of the same things. So it's pretty cool. A lot of great perspectives in there. I encourage you to join. There is a Discord link down below that PC Geek just sent up. And if you can't get to that link or can't figure it out, just Google it. Techno Tim Discord, and you'll probably find it. And we're a partnered server, so you could do discord.gg/technotim. So anyways, thank you guys all so much. If you have anything you want to share or want to tell me, yeah, ping me. I don't mind. Ping me in Discord or on Twitter, wherever, and I'll try to get back to you. I will be back next Saturday for sure, and I will have something out probably this week for you as well. Well, the next week, starting tomorrow. Next Saturday or Friday. We'll see how it goes. And thank you so much. There was bits, there was subs, there was gifted subs, there were a lot of follows. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Super thankful for all you guys being here, and just thankful that there are people in here talking and chatting about this type of stuff. Like I said, this is my time during the week. It sounds kind of selfish, but this is my time during the week where I get to totally geek out on this stuff. Like, no holds bar. Let's talk tech and home lab. And, and it's not on work time, and it's not on my wife's ear, who has no idea what I'm talking about. It's with you guys who all understand. So I appreciate it. So thank you. I'll see you next week, and enjoy your Saturday and rest of the weekend, and be good to each other. Take care, folks.